Claudina Breneman. Claudina, the floor is yours. Go ahead and take it away.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Colton. Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm honored to be asked to be here and share with you a little bit. Today, I'm going to change it a little bit. Normally, I talk about, more like operational things, how to rank advanced, like all that stuff. It's fun. I love qualifying for Club 500s. I love going to all the incentive trips. I just came back from Cancun and it was incredible. I took both of my daughters. My husband couldn't make it because he's still an employee, and that's okay. I love him the way he is, but we have freedom and time and opportunities, and that's why I took the girls to Cancun. It was incredible. But today I'm going to switch it up a little bit, and we're going to dig a little deep, and hopefully I can find my presentation. Where are you? Hold on a second. Hold on, share screen. Okay. It's coming. Let me find it. Tell me if you find the one that says eliminating limiting beliefs. Do you see it? Okay, good. Yay. All right. Well, today we're going to talk about personal development, a little bit different than what I explained or talked about before. And we all were born into different settings and families. Mine was from Mexico, was very conservative, Catholics, you have to do this. And when we were born, we're like a white page and it's all blank. And they start putting in all these things that may be us or not, but we start believing everything that they put in. As an adults, we have the responsibility of recognizing where those limiting beliefs come from and why do they stay, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to share with you 5 steps to overcome limiting beliefs. And I know we all have them. Even the A16s have to work on things inside of them, right? So no matter your rank, we all have those beliefs. Now, the point number 1 or the step number 1 is to be conscious about what is optional in our lives and what is non-negotiable. Because a lot of things that are non-negotiable, we treat them as optional, right? And successful people know how to recognize those two and know when to burn their boats, right? When they commit fully of a course of action and there is no possibility of turning back, you make better decisions, right? Because, for example, if we want to lose weight, right? And we have the conviction of losing weight versus the convenience of eating an apple strudel. I love apple anything. I love it. So, but when you're committing to being healthy, right? What do you go for? Do you go for your conviction or you go for your convenience? So when we don't know how to identify those, then we got into trouble, right? Because then we cannot achieve what we want to achieve. So for me and for you today, I want you to be conscious and maybe make a list of the things that are non-negotiable in your life. That may be time with your family, which is not going to be all the time in the world, right? You're going to have a specific time for that, which is going to be when you're going to be working your business. And what is non-negotiable? Your 5 calls a day, right? Your follow-ups, your presentations, your training, your personal development, your religion, right? That's non-negotiable. And what is going to be optional in your life? Maybe watching Netflix, watching the game, going to the movies. Those things are kind of optional, but a lot of times we put them as non-negotiable, and that's what's not okay, right? So then we're going to go to step number 2. And I know everyone tells you don't quit. And that's my recommendation for everyone. The key of the success that I've had is being that I haven't quit no matter what came in my life. Now, you do need to quit on certain things because when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else, right? We all have 24 hours a day. We all have 1 mouth, 2 eyes, 2 ears. So we cannot sometimes, say yes to everything. We have to learn how to say no to things and invest our time and activities in things that generate the most value and money for ourselves, right? And you know exactly what those are. Exercise, your spiritually, whatever your religion or non-religion, but maybe meditation or whatever that is, right? How you work your business, how to have balance in your life, and learn how to delegate. I remember when we moved to Mexico, because thank you, Actives, when I was able to retire my husband temporarily, and we moved to Mexico for 2 years. I lived in Merida, my hometown, with my girls, and so they could perfect their Spanish, and my husband to learn even more bad words that he knows in Spanish, right? When we came back to United States, when we lived in Mexico, we had help, right? And when we came back to the United States, we're just the four of us, and everyone thought we were still living in that life of having help. And my husband and I were picking everything, cooking, and doing everything around the house. And we found that we needed to delegate, right? We needed the girls to have their list of chores, us to have our list of chores, and that way the house could function in a better way. So don't forget, you have the capacity to also delegate some of those activities that are maybe taking time of your non-productive, right? Or taking time of maybe away from your business or whatever. So what is it today that you're going to give up? I'm sorry, I don't have my little question mark. For some reason, it looks like an X, but that means a question mark. Okay. So what are you going to give up, right, in your life? Because I am ready to give up maybe my sense of inferiority, procrastination, being a victim, right? What are you quitting? What are you giving up? Because you cannot have it all. Step number 3, in order to grow, you must sink your roots deep, just like a tree, right? And I love how David Brown in many scenarios has talked about the trees and the roots and how they stay together and stay strong underground, and they grab the roots, right? That's what we're doing here at Actix. That's the reason you're here today. And that's the reason David Brown is here, Angie Hawthorne, and all of our corporate team are here, because we're literally growing those roots deep and holding each other underground. And there is a definition between self-esteem and self-confidence, and we need both to be strong in this business. Now, there's a difference between the two. Self-esteem is the constant evolution of our emotional intelligence, personal stability, and self-acceptance. Is right inside of us, right? So just you and only you know about your self-esteem. Now, self-confidence is how you feel about your abilities and your skills that are also very important in this business, right? But they're not the same. So if you are feeling need of internal validation, right, then you probably need to work on your self-esteem. If you need external validation, people to tell you, you're doing great, this and that, then you need to work on your self-confidence, right? We both need both of them. Now, there's going to be times where it's not if, it's when things are not going to work out in your business, in your life, in your family, etc. And that's when you really need to hold on to those strong roots, right? And that's the reason we need to better ourselves, right? Don't ask for easier things. Ask for you to become better, to be able to deal with those situations. And you cannot sow seeds without preparing the ground. Here at Actives, and you as a leader, you got to prepare that ground, right? You got to feel strong in your self-esteem. You have to work in your skills and your abilities to be able to rip those seeds, right? Those really plant in that ground and for things to grow. Step number 4 is forgive. And this one sometimes hurts. Forgive to set yourself free. A lot of times we are filled with regret, we're filled with guilt, anger, and we got to forgive to give space for the future. And I don't talk about the future in the next 5 years. I'm talking about a near future, right? To receive the joy, to receive success, to receive happiness, to receive new people in your team and the blessings that actives has for us. You got to release that jar of resentments, right? Who do you need to forgive that you maybe haven't, that is maybe holding you back? Because forgiveness does not mean minimizing the pain or the person that is causing it or caused it in the past, right? It's only create that space for what you really want in this year and in your life. Because there are people that are waiting for you, to join your team, to be part of your dream, right? But we got to work on those things. What is your jar today filled with? And you know what? I know that's hard because we have had situations, right, that are painful in our past. And sometimes we're holding on to that, right? But it doesn't matter whatever happened, right? Whatever happened, made us who we are today. But we got to forgive to set ourselves free. And why is this not going? I have one more thing. Recognize that everything that you have created and accomplished today has been with the resources available that have been up to you to this point, right? Whatever the way you are, whatever rank you are today, you have used those resources. Maybe we need to get new resources. Maybe we need to get more action. Maybe we need to, right? Start implementing some of those personal developments to be able to achieve more. Now, point number 5, fail forward. And I love failing forward, is because fail, if we look at that word, is first attempt in learning, just like babies when they first start learning how to walk. I mean, I don't know about you, but I didn't have experience in network marketing, and I really knew that I needed to learn everything. I remember carrying my little blueprint in my purse, and every time I was in my kids' class or I had a moment, I was reading it because I was so thirsty of learning, because I knew I needed to learn a lot. No matter how successful I was as a human resources director, this was a different thing, was a different animal. It required more of me. It required me to grow more as a person. So failing forward is the willingness to fail, right? And I love Lisa Nichols, and I got that from her. The willingness to fail is the willingness to fly. You cannot fly without failing, right? Just like a baby cannot learn how to walk without falling. We avoid so many opportunities in our lives to fly because we're in fear of failure. And our brain, right, works in a very survival mode, our reptile brain, right? We have to understand the reasons why we don't get out of our comfort zone. It's because it's in our DNA that we've got to survive in this world, right? So your brain is going to tell you not to, right? But when you're trained to recognize that that is a limiting belief and that you can, because you need to be able to say yes to things that are going to take you out of that comfort zone, then that's when you start to grow. And growth requires failed experiences. This one I love. And Lisa Nichols says, you can't hate the teacher and appreciate the lesson. You have to thank both, right? And this could be maybe a bad relationship that you had in the past. Maybe this is something that has to do with a distributor that, you know, damaged your business, damaged your reputation, or didn't work out, right? So there are so many experiences in our lives, or a bad business that you did and didn't work out, right? We have to thank that teacher and thank that lesson, because that's the only way we learn and we grow. And failure obviously doesn't mean that you're a failure. You fail at something, but you learn and you grow. And that's how you commit to flying, right? To be the better version of yourself. What would you do today? That's a question that I have for you. If you knew that failure was not an option, who would you be calling today if you knew you were going to get a yes? Who? I know you're thinking about someone that you haven't called, right? If you write it down right now, would you be calling it right after we finish this active school? And we're leading towards the end. There are two ingredients of a true realization, right? And maybe you have experienced that in these presentations, because there is a difference between a discovery versus a true realization of something. Maybe you just now realize what is holding you back. And there are two ingredients or two steps for that, right? First, there's an irritation. It bugs you. There's a conflict between what you want, which is maybe getting to that next trip, deluxe in Cancun. Maybe it's rank advancing, right? Maybe it's your team to grow, right? Because you want those leaders to get to the next rank, right? And at the same time, there's a conflict between the desire but also the doubts, right? The limitations that you're feeling that you have that are only in your head. Well, the step number 2 is surrendered action. You need to surrender and really get into action. We have to surrender to something bigger than ourselves. Sometimes it only requires for you to be able to maybe hit that Club 500, because once you do it once, then you know you can do it twice, 3 times, 4 times. Maybe you have to just get to that trip deluxe, because once you get to the first one, trust me, it's almost, for me, it was a switch. It's something that clicked, right? And I'm like, okay, now I can do it. And then automatically every single trip I'm there, and my kids are involved, because I cannot go, right? Or I can pay for it. Yes, of course. But my kids are watching, and now they like the trips and they want to go. So now it's double the effort that I have to put, because if I say I don't go, whatever, but for my kids, that's not going to happen. I got to take them. We cannot change our reality until we change our capacity. And I love that line from Lisa Nichols. Personal growth is not accumulating information that maybe we're getting today, but really applying it into our lives, right? It is more about unlearning all that old information and limiting beliefs that of our family put us in our head and that are dragging us, right? Like we're almost dragging this big weight in ourselves that doesn't let us fly, right? And learning and applying the new you, because there is a new you inside of you. We all started with a lot of baggage, and trust me, when you start learning and growing, all of that start becoming way more light. Sometimes we commit to our limiting beliefs more than the new possibilities, because that's our comfort zone. That's what we know. Even though it's uncomfortable, it's still comfortable because it's still there. It's just not, it's just better. It's safer. Nobody teaches us how to overcome rejections and failures and understand how our mind and behavior work. And that's what I thought it was important to talk about this. I want to thank you for being here. I love Lisa Nichols. I got a lot of information from her, and I love the line that she has. We cannot change our reality until we change our capacity. Thank you very much.